Hey guys, what's going on? I know it's been a freaking minute, but let me tell you what. First thing, I want to say thank you. There have been a few of you that reached out and was asking what was going on. They're like, hey, when is the next podcast dropping? You know, you doing all right? And I greatly appreciate that. And listen, I got to tell you guys, like I started this daily vlog a couple months ago, and it just keeps growing and growing. The podcast keeps growing and growing because you guys are the ones showing up listening. And you guys are the reason that I do this, because the messages that I get on Instagram and from you guys personally that keep telling me, you know, hey man, thank you for being a real one. Thank you for sharing this message. You know, I'm going to save this video because it's going to help me. Or, hey man, I feel like you spoke directly to me. My brothers, this is why I do this. But there are so many damn things that I could talk about right now that have happened in my life the past 2 weeks. Now, if you're paying attention, if you're following along on the home game, you know I haven't posted for 2 weeks. And to me, that sucks, because this is something that I definitely enjoy doing. I definitely feel like I add value. I bring real raw truth, unlike a lot of these Insta gurus online. But I want to tell you about a situation. It's not about business per se. It's not about fitness per se. It's not about making money. It's not about marriage. It's all about you guys. And it's about the dads. And I've had several dad moments the past 2 weeks. I've had several good moments. I've had several bad moments. I've had chaos show up in my life. I've had good things show up in my life. I've had highs. I've had lows. I've been punched in the dick more times than I can count the past 2 weeks, and especially the past month. But what's been happening is basically my business is taking the most amount of time right now, and that's what's needed. And I'm just doing what's required. And I want to tell you about a conversation. So I had this dad message me on Instagram, and that's typically how the conversations start for me. That's typically how guys come into the group. You know, I don't really do sales calls anymore. Like I got tired of doing sales calls. Like you're either in or you're all out. You're all in or you're all out. And if you guys just were able to see this difference and start approaching your life that way, then so much would change for you. And that's basically this circumstance. So I'm going back and forth with his dad, and he's telling me all about, you know, how he's been watching me on social media for 2 years. He's been listening to the podcast, watching the videos. He's you know, basically taking the free information that I'm giving him, and he's still stuck. So he's still stuck. He's still failing. And the biggest thing for him was he was failing in silence. And guys, I got to tell you, that's all of us. Like so many of us dads fail in silence. You know, some of us are broke. Some of us are fat and overweight. Some of us think it's normal to be that way. Society wants you to be that way. And I know, because I used to be that guy. I used to be the guy that was overweight, who lived paycheck to paycheck, who used to do the bare minimum, and who used to live in the comfort zone 100% of the time. That was me. That was that guy until I killed that guy. Obviously, you know, don't take that as it's a figure of speech. Okay. So listen, being a firefighter, it showed me discipline. And I knew that the stakes were so high, right? Because, you know, at a moment's notice, I had to go to a burning building, or I had to go to a car wreck, or I had a medical emergency, or somebody needed help. So I knew the stakes were high. And when I was younger in my career, you know, I was in shape, I was fit, and I took it super, super seriously. And then I started getting lazy. And I remember actually, you know, going through some drills or going through a PAT test which is physical activity and just being gassed, like, and thinking like, man, I should have smoked that test, but I'm not. And that was like kind of the beginning of the end per se. Um, in my own transition and my own transformation to becoming who I am today, because I recognized that how I used to be, uh, it was going away. So I'm going back and forth. I'm having this conversation, and this guy's telling me about his business. He's telling me, again, how he follows this guy and he follows that guy and he tried that program, and then he's watching my stuff and listening to the podcast. And it kind of threw me off because I was like, okay, so what do you want? Like, what are you here for? Why are we having this conversation? And he kind of took a weird turn that I wasn't expecting, because what I noticed was he was talking about all this surface level bullshit. And I was like, I don't care who you follow. Like, I'm glad you follow me. I'm glad you think that I provide you some value for you to reach out. But I was like, other than, I just, it's all fluff. And so many of us men live in fluff. And let me give you an example. Like, maybe, let's say you're the guy that's fit. In your circle of friends, you're the one that's fit. You're the one that consistently goes to the gym. You're the one that follows a nutrition, right? But your friends aren't. Well, what do? They joke about the dad bod. They think it's funny. But the truth is they really don't. That's fluff, right? Or they say things like happy wife, happy life. That's fluff. Um, you know, I go to church for the donuts. That's fluff. And so I started kind of getting this feel from this guy, and I was like, "Hey man, like what do you want?" Well, I want to get more in shape, but this and that, and then I want, and so the fact was he wasn't clear. He had no target he was aiming for, right? All of his ego, if you will, and everything that fed his ego in a good or bad way was fluff. And I said, "Okay, are you happy with your body?" No. Okay. Are you at financially where you want to be at? No. Do you feel connected to God? No. Are you connected with your wife? No. And I was like, okay, then we have some work to do. And I started getting an idea of like how he lives his life and all this stuff. And he brings up the biggest thing that most men say today: work-life balance. And I said, it doesn't exist. And I gave him the situation that I'm in right now. And the situation that I'm in right now is my business that feeds my family, that helps hundreds of patients get healthier, that feeds other people's families, a business that's been in business for over 9 years now, a business that I run with my wife, a business that's in 5,500 square feet. Our dream that we've built is taking my time. And I need to take my time and focus on it. And so I may be spending 75% of my time at my business right now. And that means the leftovers go to my wife, my boys, my fitness. Oh, Paul, but you talk about dominating daily. Yep, you're absolutely right. And right after this, I'm going to go work out. And yesterday I did a workout and hung out with family. This idea of balance, gentlemen, it's fake. But the pursuit of dominating daily in all these domains never changes. You always are constantly going, how can I be better today than I was yesterday? And sometimes you're going to miss the mark. But where most guys get stuck is exactly where this guy was. He was stuck living in a comfort zone, seeking work-life balance. And so I was like, okay, this is the one question that most men turn and run. I'm like, okay, are you ready to invest in your own self? well, how much is it going to cost? I was like, well, there's several different options, but I think you need XYZ. And he's like, well, I think I know what I need to do. And I'm like, okay, so is that a no? Yeah, I think I'm just going to try this and do the things we talked about and go and see how it goes, right? And I'm like, okay, well, that just tells me that you're not ready and you're not committed, which is not somebody that I want to work with, or not really somebody that I want in my dad's group. Like, I want men that are all in or all out. And I straight up told him, I was like, listen, I think you have a lot of potential, and I think you have the desire to go after this kingdom picture that you've made of or told me about in your life, but you're not willing to do the work. Because what ends up happening is I end up holding up the mirror, and it makes most men uncomfortable. There's probably several of you that watch this that will never message me because you're fearful of how uncomfortable I either make my life look or how you think I'm going to make you look. And I can't even begin to tell you that's further from the truth. Like, there are things in my life that most people will never do that I do almost every day or every day, right? Like, I just got in the cold plunge today. It was 40 degrees. I did 3.5 minutes. And there are guys that I'm like, absolutely not. I will not ever get in a cold plunge. And that's not my program, guys. Like, I'm not telling guys, hey, like, you have to do my morning routine. No, not at all. That's where all these Insta gurus really miss the mark. But he wasn't allowing this false veil wall to drop. And something that business has taught me, something that working with men has taught me, is when they can't connect that piece and be honest, I can see it from a mile away. I can see it from a mile away. And I'm not talking just like physically, like going back and forth in the conversations. Like, I'll ask questions, and I'm an assassin when I'm trying to figure out your problem and why you contacted me. I'm an assassin. I know how to answer or ask you the question so that you'll answer in a truthful manner. And sometimes I get guys like this that they're just so afraid of saying it out loud, even if it's over, with your thumbs. Like, hey, you know what? Hey, most guys can't even admit they watch porn. Most guys won't even bring that up because they're afraid to get out of the comfort zone. They're afraid to look at the mirror and find what their real truth is. And if you guys get anything from today, if you cannot get real with all the facts of your life, you will never get to the finish line, even though there is no finish line. This idea of balance, this kingdom that you're seeking, that you tell me or you say, I want that. If you cannot drop this veil that is full of lies, you'll never get there. Because growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. You're never going to grow sitting on the couch. You're never going to grow sitting on the sidelines. You're never going to grow from a victim mentality. You're never going to grow from a place of mediocrity. It's not going to happen. In order to grow and get the things that you want, you have to get uncomfortable. That's the main reason I get in that cold plunge. It's because it's uncomfortable for 3.5 minutes at 39, 40 degrees. Have I come to enjoy it sometimes? Yeah. Right now, I'm not enjoying it because I haven't been doing it every day. And so here's the thing. You need to drop your ego. I pay coaches to hold the mirror to me. Guys in the Dominant Daily Dads, I hold the mirror to them. We have weekly calls. We talk about all kinds of stuff. We get real and raw. We talk about some deep, deep stuff. In fact, this week we talk about Genesis, the book of Genesis, and how you must go through the darkness in order to have the light. You must wade through the shit and the chaos and the pain and the shame and the guilt and all of your bullshit in order to succeed and get what you want in life. And it sounds so simple, and it's not that simple. It's not that simple. So you need to start leading, but the only way you start leading is to stop lying. And that was the thing. So that was kind of, how we wrapped up the conversation. I was like, look, man, I was like, for what I do, you guys have to remember this. I was a firefighter. I ran toward the fire. I ran into burning buildings. The majority of people, the majority of the population, what do? They run away. And I'm not saying that to boost my own ego. I'm saying that's exactly what I did. And as much as the fire department messed with me on so many levels, like it broke my body. I hope you guys understand that. You should watch my stories today. But as much as it broke me, it also taught me. And that goes back to exactly what I just said. I spent 14 years at the fire department in a job and a career that I thought I loved, that I slowly outgrew. I lost a very close friend of mine. He died at 36. I lost my health for a long time, and I almost lost my life, and I almost lost my family. But in order to be sitting here in front of you today, to be posting vlogs, to be on social media, to be working with dads and helping them rise and dominate their life, I had to go through that stuff to get to the light. And that's what I mean by Genesis. And remember, guys, towards the end of my career, I was a fire investigator. Like, I used to look at a fire and figure out what started this fire. Like, what was the cause? So when I say I help dads just like you get clarity on the problem and the solution, I help you find clarity. That's what I'm an assassin at. Okay? What makes you think that I don't do that? I was an internationally trained fire investigator. I was a qualified expert witness as a fire investigator. I held 4 different certifications in arson investigation. I was learned to interrogate people. And you don't think I can see when you're full of shit? Guys, come on. And I'm not saying this to deter you. I'm saying this to empower you. If you're stuck and you're unclear and you don't know what to do, or you keep starting and stopping and you never get anywhere, I'm your guy. I can pinpoint it to a T. So to wrap this up, I'll finish this conversation that I had with this guy. And he's like, yeah, so he finally admitted, he's like, no, I don't want to spend that money. Money's kind of tight right now. Again, it was more bullshit. And hopefully he sees this. And if you do, man, reach back out. Thank you for allowing me to have this conversation with you in order to empower others. And I was like, look, you'll drop $1,000 on an Xbox. You'll go buy a $25 cocktail. You'll go buy a $150 pair of shoes. But you're scared to spend $300, $600, $900 a month, whatever it is, to work on yourself. You guys realize how crazy that sounds? And this is the area that most dads, this is the trap, gentlemen. This is the trap that they stay in. You guys are so addicted to a dopamine rush instead of discipline. You keep telling yourselves, I'll do it later, or, it's not the right time, or, the money's not right. You're going to go finance a freaking Cybertruck. You're going to go pay $1,500 a month for a Cybertruck. Oh, but I'm saving on gas. Okay, cool. As a firefighter, I just didn't fight the fire. I figured out why it started as a fire investigator. And that's what I help you guys do. So my point is this: you guys got to be willing to drop the veil. You got to be willing to invest in yourself if you want to get to that place that you so desperately tell me you want to get to. It's not some painting on the wall that you just look at and dream of. God gave us dreams. We have those dreams to go after them. So I appreciate you guys. And, you know what? I want to give you a challenge. Like, because this guy sparked this conversation, and I want you to take away something tactical. So for the next 7 days, I want you to track every dollar you spend. I want you to track every dollar and see how much money goes to comfort versus growth. How much money goes to things that don't grow you, as opposed to things that will make you become the man you're supposed to become the man that God called you to be. And you guys should be able to figure it out. It's not that hard. Like, going out and having a $25 cocktail, that doesn't help you become a better man. And I'm not saying I don't play video games, and I'm not saying I don't drink cocktails, but I'm also here daily. I'm here dominating daily. I'm here doing what's required daily. I'm here getting uncomfortable daily. And if there's any difference between me and you, it's that. Is that I know in order for me to grow, I have to get uncomfortable. I know that when I start slowing down or I start doing stupid stuff, I hold the mirror to myself. And it's taken me years and thousands upon thousands and upon thousands of dollars and different coaches for me to figure that out. So until then, guys, keep winning, keep moving forward, and dominate daily.